The Secret of the Ages by Robert Collier, Volume 5, Chapter 14. Your needs are met. Arise, O soul, and gird thee up anew. Though the black camel death kneel at this gate, no beggar thou that thou for alms shouldst sue. Be the proud captain still of thine own fate. Kenyon. You've heard the story of the old man who called his children to his bedside to give them a few parting words of advice. And this was the burden of it. My children, he said, I have had a great deal of trouble in my life, a great deal of trouble, but most of it never happened. We are all of us, like that old man, our troubles weigh us down, in prospect, but we usually find that when the actual need arrives, Providence has devised some way of meeting it. Dr. Jacques Loeb, a member of the Rockefeller Institute, conducted a series of tests with parasites found on plants, which show that even the lowest order of creatures have the power to call upon universal supply for the resources to meet any unusual need. In order to obtain the material, reads the report of the tests, potted rose bushes are brought into a room and placed in front of a closed window. If the plants are allowed to dry out, the aphides, parasites, previously wingless, change to winged insects. After the metamorphosis, the animals leave the plants, fly to the window and then creep upward on the glass. It is evident that these tiny insects found that the plants on which they had been thriving were dead, and that they could therefore secure nothing more to eat and drink from this source. The only method by which they could save themselves from starvation was to grow temporary wings and fly, which they did. In short, when their source of sustenance was shut off, and they had to find the means of migrating or perish, universal supply furnished the means for migration. If universal mind can thus provide for the meanest of its creatures, is it not logical to suppose that it will do even more for us, the highest product of creation, if we will but call upon it, if we will but have a little faith? Viewed in the light of mind's response to the need of those tiny parasites, does it seem so unbelievable that a sea should roll back, while a people marched across it dry-shod? That a pillar of fire should lead them through the wilderness by night? That manna should fall from heaven, or water gush forth from a rock? In moments of great peril, in times of extremity, when the brave soul has staked its all, those are the times when miracles are wrought, if we will but have faith. That doesn't mean that you should rest supinely at your base, and let the Lord provide. When you have done all that is in you to do, when you have given of your best, don't worry or fret as to the outcome. Know that, if more is needed, your need will be met. You can sit back with the confident assurance that having done your part, you can depend upon the genie of your mind to do the rest. When the little state of Palestine was in danger of being overrun by Egypt on the one hand, or gobbled up by Assyria on the other, its people were frantically trying to decide which horn of the dilemma to embrace, with which enemy they should ally themselves to stave off the other. With neither, the prophet Isaiah told them, in calmly resting your safety lieth, in quiet trust shall be your strength. So it is with most of the great calamities that afflict us. If we would only calmly rest, quietly trust, how much better off we should be. But no, we must fret and worry, and 9 times out of 10 do the wrong thing. And the more we worry and fret, the more likely we are to go wrong. All of universal mind that is necessary to solve any given problem, to meet any need, is wherever that need may be. Supply is always where you are, and what you need. It matters not whether it be sickness or trouble, poverty or danger, the remedy is there, waiting for your call. Go at your difficulty boldly, knowing that you have infinite resources behind you, and you will find these forces closing around you and coming to your aid. It's like an author writing a book. For a long time, he works in a kind of mental fog, but let him persevere, and there flashes suddenly a light that clarifies his ideas and shows him the way to shape them logically. At the moment of despair, you feel a source of unknown energy arising in your soul. That doesn't mean that you will never have difficulties. Difficulties are good for you. They are the exercise of your mind. You are the stronger for having overcome them. But look upon them as mere exercise, as stunts that are given you, in order that you may the better learn how to use your mind, how to draw upon universal supply. Like Jacob, wrestling with the angel, don't let them go until they have blessed you, until, in other words, you have learned something from having encountered them. Remember this: no matter how great a catastrophe may befall mankind, no matter how general the loss, you and yours can be free from it. There is always a way of safety. There is always an ark by which the understanding few can be saved from the flood. The name of that ark is understanding, understanding of your inner powers. When the children of Israel were being led into the promised land, and Joshua had given them their directions, they answered him, "All that thou commandest us, we will do, and whithersoever thou sendest us, we will go. Only the Lord, thy God, be with thee, as he was with Moses." They came to the river Jordan, and it seemed an insurmountable barrier in their path. But Joshua commanded them to take the Ark of the Covenant, representing God's understanding with them, before them into the Jordan. They did it, and the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon an heap. And the priests that bear the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground in the midst of Jordan, and all the Israelites passed over on dry ground, until all the people were passed clean over Jordan.